Hello fellow viewers and welcome back to yet another stream. And since last week I was not successful in getting the shiny Voltorbs, I thought to myself, well, I could still try it again before I do the why not one. And that's exactly what I will be attempting to do today. So today basically there's gonna be two streams. This one where I attempt to get a shiny Voltorb this time. And really do get it instead of failing get it. And later we will be hunting wild Pokemon. So that wouldn't be stationary ones, that would be wild ones. This is a stationary hunt that I'm doing now, just in case, so that you know what's up. And already the first viewers here. Welcome back to the stream, Alex. How you doing? Great to see you again. So yeah, let's hope that this time it's gonna work out. So let's start. And already I don't know why Ian Timer keeps doing that, but I usually prefer the pop sound, but for some reason Ian Timer keeps glitching. Sometimes it just changes settings randomly, no idea why. I sleep all day now trying to finish my job for today. Oh, so you got a lot of things to do today, or is today your I can finally wind down and rest day? Hey there, Kaiser Kamazin. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, long time no see, right? So shout out to both of my patrons, Alex and Kaiser Kamazin. And have fun with the Ditto. And if any one of you wants a shiny Clam Pearl, just ask. I won't ask any money for these or any donation or anything like that, because no. Okay, so the delay is actually 85. I did test that out offline. And I did manage to hit the frame. So if I don't mess up this time, I should get the shiny Voltorb. So there's 3 shiny Voltorb that I can get here. This is one of them. I believe they're all level 25. Luckily, none of them know Explosion. Or the other move that one-hit KOs the user, which I keep forgetting the English name of, but it's the lesser version of Explosion. Long-time Pokemon fans know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure that attack got removed in the newer installments of Pokemon, because they did purge a lot of moves that still existed in the old games, but now in the newer games you don't see them anymore. Honestly, shiny Voltorb Electrode is one of the best shinies out there. Yeah, it definitely is. It really is a great shiny. A blue one, it's just really fitting. It fits with the Great Ball. It's a good idea, even though it wasn't selected, because that shiny was like that also during Gold, Silver and Crystal, where shinies were first introduced. And as I already mentioned in other streams, the old shiny colors or palettes were not chosen until I think Generation 6. So any shiny before Generation 6 was basically just the game saying take this palette and go either to the left or right, so -1 or +1, the one next to that or the other one next to the palette. So I don't know if, for example, it uses palette 2, then the shiny might use palette 3 or 1, if that makes sense. And that's how shinies were determined back then. That's why a lot of pink shinies, that's why a lot of pink Pokemon have blue or yellow shinies. Golden sometimes. Self-destruct is what you're thinking about? Yeah, it's self-destruct, definitely. I might be wrong, but I think they took self-destruct out of the newer games, but I could be wrong. I have to do a couple of things every day, it's not for long. Hopefully you're doing okay though. I also figured out where the beeping sound comes from. It's from my monitor when I open up OBS, which is very annoying. No idea how to fix or remedy that. I'll have to look into that. But if it's, I mean, I do hear it, but I do have sensitive hearing, well, as in the sense that my ears are not better than anyone else's. That's not true. I'm just, the way I filter information is different. You're in a very strange mood today? What do you mean, a strange mood? I hope I get this one soon. So we had to check something. Yeah, hopefully this time I won't be sitting here for 2 hours trying to get a shiny Voltorb. Feeling very neurodivergent today, for lack of a better term. I feel like that every day, but I think I do understand what you mean. Alright, let's see. Should get it right pretty soon. No, this is not it. It's also pretty bad yesterday, at least for my liking. Only gotten one, which sometimes I got over like 13. I think my maximum was 15. I'd have to check, but not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things. Caught myself doing this weird thing where I was shaking my hands out like they had pins and needles while listening to music because I was getting very excited. I thought I didn't do that anymore. I do that a lot, not with like shaking, but running in circles while listening to music. Sometimes it devolves into running in circles or running around my apartment. It's a wonderful stim session. But it's a nice way getting rid of excess energy. I do that pretty much every day. Well, not like exactly like you described, but the doing very specific movements because you are excited because of music or anything else. So you did do that as a child or earlier? That's just a weird way my neurodivergence manifests. How long do you guys think will it take until the chat becomes morbid again? Or do you think I'd have to wait for a couple more of my viewers to come back? That's a red one. Wait, let me go for the other one first. That would be the modest square shiny. Because I have a feeling that Ian Timer sometimes does me no good when I use the very low frame. And with low frame, I mean under a minute. Oh my god, no. Yeah, I mean, if I'm weird like that when someone says something and I just talk about anything. And sometimes I can't really read the room and someone has to tell me, please don't. I don't want to hear that. It's too much for me. I'm very neurodivergent in that way. I sometimes need to be told. Especially here, I mean, this is just via text and there's no other indicators I can rely on, like body language or anything else, in order to kind of read the room. Alright, 3 seconds. Let's see. Is it the blue sphere that I wanted? No, it's not. But these vibes are welcome here. I never really stopped doing that, even though I have to say I don't really do these things in public, because you get the weirdest stares. People think you're crazy, even though you're not really doing anything wrong. You're just rocking back and forth, or you're fidgeting with your hands or something like that. That really doesn't hurt anyone. Sure, it might like look weird, and sometimes you can really see that the person is full of energy. Only there's something going on, but it's not. I mean, why do people give you that really bad stare? See, the thing is that I do these weird habits in public sometimes. I've seen people do it, but I never like judged them for it. I was like, yeah, I know I also have to do that. I just have the self-control, I guess, to not do it in public, but it's kind of sad if you think about it. Because it got bullied out of me, as in don't do it in public. Which, if you think about it, why? It doesn't hurt anyone. Or I'm the same, I can talk about anything, but sometimes there happens to be a lot of words. I have no idea what they mean. Told my English is poor. I may be not bad in grammar because it's easy, but I don't know a lot of words. I mean, your English isn't bad. I do understand you most of the time, so it's very rare that I don't understand what you're trying to say. Deleted these messages because they had some typos. I see. Really do hope that that won't happen now that that I sit here for 4 hours and still no Voltorb. But I did get it offline, so I should be able to replicate it again. So you understand, but I don't understand a lot of things because I don't know the words. Well, if there is a word that you heard from me and you don't understand it, don't be shy and ask. Okay, let's see. Let's see. No. I mean, your English is pretty good. You don't need to have a refined diction to be able to speak English, definitely. And funnily enough, most English speakers have a low reading level, so simple English is better. I've noticed that as well. I don't like to say that because I do or might come across as very rude or like snobbish when I say that, but I have noticed that usually when I use simple English, I have more success sometimes with some English-speaking people. I mean, as in their mother tongue, their first language that they ever learned being English. The previous message is empty. I told exact about my poor vocabulary. Well, in a way, when you're here interacting, you're definitely bettering your English. Now, I mean, I can't speak or understand or write Ukrainian. But yeah, I do try to answer in the language usually that the chatter writes in. Yeah, and feel free to ask if you do not know what a word means, definitely, just like he said. Okay, so that's already about, yeah, now 16 minutes in. Three Voltorbs. At least one of them I want to be a star shiny, at least one of them square shiny, and 22,000, I think that's a bit much. That should be around 5 to 6 minutes, I believe. I'll see how the stream goes. Maybe I'll attempt the jolly one. Maybe. Well, the stats are pretty bad. Oh, look at that. 3 HP IVs, 4 attack IVs, 1 special attack. Ew. That's not so good, but I mean, I don't RNG for good IVs right now. I'm RNGing for shininess. Stop interacting when I stop to understand. Yeah, I kind of understand why. Let's see. Already hovering over the, yeah. Just the fact that most English speakers aren't educated well, and so they have a low reading level. I mean, the average reading level for an American is around 5th grade. It's not a fun fact, yeah. It's a fact, but not a fun fact. This thing scares me. The low literacy. That is very scary, definitely. I mean, yeah, I could be, I don't know, speaking in another, like my mother tongue, and no one would be able to understand, or maybe my husband would, but that's like 1 out of my many viewers. And you wouldn't really be able to interact with that, would you? Oh, and told you this before, I think, but if you kind of need help with German, Kaiser comes in, I'll definitely help you. Right, 3 seconds. Let's see if this is it. No. Just have to have faith in myself, I guess, and try to do the resets as well timed as possible. When I passed exams from 1st grade to 2nd to go to better school, I was so scared while reading the exam. So I read so fast I was afraid they refused me, or what it's called, so I read with Eminem speed. Eminem speed, yeah. That's a good term. And text ends before a minute. I read again. No, I read all the words. Again, this stupid emoji thing sometimes blocks certain, like the last word of a comment, just really badly designed. Maybe I should do a snippet of that. So you guys know what I mean. Was even more scared. I read page to the end, turn around, and there's nothing. Oh, I think everyone had a moment, or almost everyone had a moment once in their school career where they said like, oh, the exam was easy, what about the one on the other side of the... You know, the other side? What do you mean, the other side? And then it dawns on you. And not something nice is dawning on you. I'll say though that the high level of speech reading one has usually correlated to more people seeing them as an ass. Oh? For example, my narcissist friend speaks with a very refined vernacular. Yeah, I mean, you can be very loquacious and then, you know, try to come off as something that you're not. It doesn't have to mean anything. You know, it's just like that Ben Shapiro guy just talking really fast. But talking really fast doesn't mean that you are intelligent. It's just I think a slightly manipulative tactic in debates, where he hopes that because he says things so quickly that you can't really compose yourself and answer or debate his points. Because I've known people like that as well. They just spoke really fast, really quickly. Okay, that you learn to speak quickly without stuttering or messing up words. Okay, congrats, but I mean, that doesn't mean you're intelligent or superior in any way. Oh, nope, that is not what it is. Very unfortunate, but hang on, I will do a... There we go, okay. Had a story with a math exam at university. Our teacher told us if everyone will be satisfied with what you get during semester, there will be no exam. And all the students were drinking all night before exam, and when we come to exam, he told, oh boy, what's coming now? Drinking all night before the exam? Jeez. That's another kind of binge, not studying. I guess you were studying ethanol there. As in how it reacts to your body. How scientific of them. Do you remember I told you if everyone will be satisfied with what you get during semester, you'll have the same mark for the exam? Oh boy, what will come now? How will this end? Yes, we are satisfied. Thinking, yeah, everything's easy peasy, easy game. GG, we're gonna... And the teacher says, I'm not satisfied. Oh no, uh-oh. Well, and now, and everyone is writing an exam. Oh boy. You have to find a good middle ground where people can still understand you and you don't come off as this conceited gentleman type figure, while also not coming off as uneducated. Yeah, definitely, you have to find that middle ground. Although sometimes it does depend on the context, or like with what kind of person you're talking to. I bet that exam, I mean, you said everyone was binge drinking the night before, so pretty much everyone failed it, I guess, or are there some people who miraculously managed to, you know, pass the exam somehow, even though they were probably still hungover? They give 4 problems to solve and white sheets. There's nothing allowed, only pen. All the bags and phones were far away. Well, that's definitely understandable. No cheating, of course. Apparently there was a, I do remember a teacher I used to have telling me this. That what was it again? I think there was a person who back then, a student who always came to school with a hat on. And he had pretty big dreadlocks, kind of like that hemp hat, you know, that Jamaican, not kind of stereotype, I guess, but that look. And apparently he used AirPods to cheat during one of the exams, and no one noticed. And because sometime later, the teacher met that person again, and it turned out that they never had dreadlocks other than when they went to that high school, and they also never wore a hat like that. It was just to come across as more believable during the exam when they had to wear it. And that's like, wow, you have that much dedication to do that in order to cheat easily, but you could have used that to study in a way. Still pretty funny, thinking about it. No, I want a blue one. Blue-white. So, see one side of the page, turn it around and write number 4 and have no idea what to write there. But my 4 looks like 1 and he thought I did nothing. Okay. Definitely does depend on context and who you're talking to, but speaking in a very refined manner in a casual situation comes off as I'm better than everyone else, yeah. I had that, sometimes I have that problem where I use very specific vocabulary and people think I'm trying to brag about anything, but I'm not trying to brag. Then again, yeah, in casual situations, maybe if as a joke, but usually people don't like that. And it also depends on your tone of voice, of course. Was the best in math at that time. He's surprised to see blank sheet with only 1 on it and asked me to go first. All the others had literally only 1 written on their papers. So everyone just wrote 1. A 1. Honestly think that cheaters only do such because the poor teaching capabilities of the teacher and professor. Yeah, I mean, I don't really blame him because the school system does suck a lot. And not really that adequate, definitely. I think it was called calculus, and my 4th thing was a triple integration properties. Oh, I had that on at university as well, integration, but very rarely triple integration. Although that's just a variety of integration. Judge teachers on whether or not I'm tempted to cheat in their class. Yeah, that's a definitely a way to kind of put a review, so to speak, on teachers. The more tempted I am, the less I rate them. Yeah, definitely. Triple integration properties are integration properties plus double integration properties plus some specific integration properties for triple integrals. Oh yeah, you have to really pay attention when you do these things. I mean, that is the point of these exams, right? So to prove that you are able to do it. Not all cheaters are that way, but I definitely think that this is how it is at a higher level. What did you write that? That stupid. At the higher level, yeah, definitely, okay. Okay, y'all. There we go. I posted a picture in the Discord to showcase what I mean with that emoji always blocking the last, or sometimes the last word and I can't read it. I have a strange habit to not write anything before I'm 100% sure in my answer. So as I know integrating properties and double integration properties, I can't remember triple integration properties. Not a single one. I have to be honest with you, even though I had it at university for triple integrals, I had to check as well. I couldn't answer you that right now. I would have to check. Also, tell me if messages are ever worded weird or don't make sense, because I have this bad habit of typing out one idea and then changing it while writing only for the sentence to come out as... I get it, yeah. I know people who write that like that as well, and until now I don't really think I had a problem with that. So the teacher thought I have only one on my paper, but I have all 3 previous solved correctly and nothing written for 4. Oh, okay. So he's asking me to check my solutions, turn the sheet, and we both check first 3, they are correct. So there you go, right? Should be able to see that. Some weird amalgamation of the 2 ideas. Also, I sometimes get ahead of myself and I think I typed something out but didn't. I know that the God deleted your Sims action. What about the integration properties? So it was not just a calculated, but you needed to, I guess, prove certain properties. I do remember having certain proofs in university, in exams as well, having to do mathematical proofs. First semester math at university, had to prove the fact that there's infinite prime numbers. You can prove that if you know which logic signs to use. Feels so confident, begin to write first, second, third, fifth, and go on. Everything I remember about integration and double integration. Nice. I mean, to be fair, the proof with the infinite primes, that is a very old proof. Which Greek philosopher was it again who proved that there were an infinite amount of primes? Was it? No, it wasn't him. Euclid did it though. I was right. I thought, was it? No, it was not Euclid, but it was Euclid. That smart guy. You're everything correct, and now time to specific triple integration properties. I show the same confidence. Write next number in the list. Begin to draw these 3 integration symbols. Oh, and then you drew a blank. You had no idea what to do next. And he's stopping me a nanosecond before my confidence and runs out saying, "Oh, I believe you. You did a nice job this semester." Oh, that was really lucky. Absolute perfect, pristine timing. It's like you rolled a 20 on that. Or a very high number at least. A great critical success. And you get the best mark. Nice. That must have felt like you won at life at this point. First time I realized confidence means more sometimes. Oh yeah, that's why people who can really play a character well and are manipulative, they can be super dangerous because they can play confidence. You can imagine where this can go sometimes. Alright, 5 seconds remaining. Yeah, that is really lucky, isn't it? Well, I mean, he got the marks, right? But I was first in that day, so he had a lot of energy. Okay, very good. Well, that's one of these moments you won't forget, isn't it? Those are the moments that you, if you should you have them, kids or grandkids, that you tell them, oh yeah, by the way, this happened once. Don't think I should calibrate today. I did it without calibration. I eventually hit the frame. So I think I should be able to do it today, hopefully. A lot of emotions, definitely. Oh boy, I can imagine. As a media literate Dune fan, I understand the power of charismatic and confident person, definitely. I mean, you can also do this in Fallout, right? Play a very high charismatic character and see how it goes. That's why politicians can say and do so many stupid things and people just buy it because they said it very charismatically. Not all of them, but yeah. Yeah, the fake it until you make it is also basically faking confidence. And isn't it a shame sometimes that you have people that fake confidence and they get, for example, I don't want to know how many people got a job even though the more shy interviewee would have been the better choice, but they didn't get the job because there was another applying in the his competition who was very charming or very charismatic or came across as very confident and seeming to know what they are talking about. I don't want to know how many times that happens, that people like that get overlooked. Way too much has to happen. It's hard to pass an exam to him. He is very critical and fault finding. Oh, I had a professor like that as well. All the other students did couple tries to get a bad mark. Well, I mean, drinking alcohol isn't really... But did you do that as well, the binge drinking? Because that's very funny if you did something like that and you still got the good mark. Imagine. If I had more confidence, I would be literally unstoppable. Well, it does help, but there's some people who can see through that, definitely. I have noticed some confident people, like when I just tend to analyze what people are saying, not how it comes across. And sometimes that's where you see inconsistencies and incongruence. And that's where you can maybe think to yourself, okay, maybe that confidence is just fluff. And they have ulterior motives. I was drinking, but I cheated a little. I was studying math drunk all the semester, so I see no difference. My boy over here is studying math while drunk. You managed to do it. Wow. I mean, I don't know how it is to be drunk. I don't want to find out, quite frankly. Did you tell the other students, or are you keeping that kind of to yourself? Jolly is at 22,935. Well, exactly. What you like what you said right now in the chat, the fact that you didn't know what to write at the third one, and that's where your professor cut you off and said, okay, I believe you. Hopefully I made myself clear. If I don't, just tell me, because sometimes I seem to be not as precise or clear as I would like to be. Alright, 10 seconds remaining. Let's see if maybe this time I'll finally not mess up. 1, 2. So let's see, I'll just check what is... Okay, that would be a 6-minute wait, a long wait, but for now I'll go with the star one again, just to check if I can pull it off again. And I'll let my viewers decide if maybe, well, depending on how it goes, maybe I won't go for the jolly one. 6 minutes is a long wait, but should I be precise, then I should be able to get it. I told everyone, but they also saw all the story of their own eyes and heard everything that we were talking about. There are 2 things I was not able to do: sober calculus and draw blueprints. Oh, so you are better at math, or like at calculus, and blueprint you can do better when you're not. Okay, very interesting. Do you have an explanation as to why? Let's see. Nope. That's definitely interesting. Very unusual as well. But then there's people that are very highly functional under certain substances. Still, I wouldn't want to see them behind a wheel if they are under the influence of anything that would impact their driving or impair it too much. Honestly, the longer you can go sober, the better. Alcohol can be fun, but also it's also dangerous, and you never know how your body will react or how your personality will change. I mean, I've seen lives being destroyed by alcohol. I have my really good reasons why I don't want to touch the stuff. One of them is, that's not really a good reason, but I'm a picky eater, but I'm also very sensitive to taste in general. And I just can't down alcohol. It's too much for my autistic brain. It just rejects that. So even if I wanted to try and get really drunk, or, you know, just binge drink, I wouldn't be able to. Maybe with something that would be very sugary, so that would mask the taste of alcohol, but still Why would I be drinking that when I could be drinking something like juice or anything else? Just as sweet, just as good, and has no alcohol. I've seen people succumb to cancers that were the direct result of lifelong alcohol abuse. So that was throat cancer, pancreas cancer, colon cancer, stomach cancer. It's just, geez, alcohol is no joke. In my eyes, that's a hard drug. And I mean, I come from a nation where there's tons of alcoholics running everywhere. Unfortunately. A couple of beers and my blueprints were as good, so Professor asked where to have you bought them, because I was able to repeat the same quality at university with math. I could sit on differential equations for hours with no idea how to solve them. But after one beer, everything turned out so funny and solution worked perfectly. Okay, so that's interesting. Maybe alcohol is kind of changing your psyche in the way that maybe you're not afraid or anxious, subconsciously anxious of the math anymore, and that's why it works? Now, some people who are very sweet people who turn into the biggest jerks while drunk. Oh yeah, that can happen. Sometimes they get downright aggressive. I barely ever drink because of my family. They are all alcoholics and I don't want to be like them. Oh, that's a fantastic choice that you just made. Don't repeat the same mistakes, definitely. And I mean, you've seen it with your very own eyes. You see what happens. And you don't want that to be your future, right? Also, it ages you really quickly. Yeah, it's just not a good idea. I think we are way too lenient on alcohol. I mean, I'm surrounded by cultures that also indulge in binge drinking. Germany, I mean, do I have to say anything? Do you know how many people from all around the world they just fly to Bavaria for the Oktoberfest, and that's like a basically it's a binge drinking party in Bavaria and Germany, where people buy lederhosen. They wear lederhosen, a very traditional German the clothing article for men. Pants in this case. And the women usually wear a dirndl, so that's written D-I-N-D-R-L. That's a very also traditional German dress for women. And yeah, I never went there during that time because I don't want to participate, but jeez, you see, there's thousands of liters of beer and alcohol and other things they just binge drink on that. And in Luxembourg, any occasion is a excuse to drink, like any kind of party or gathering or anything like that, which also doesn't help. And if you go towards the south of Luxembourg, so that's France, usually they don't have as much as an alcohol problem as we do, but they do. They are really, wow. In France, you see so many people smoking. So many like cigarettes that get bought, not caught, bought. We have so many French people crossing the border just to buy a ton of cigarettes. I didn't even know there were packets like with thousands of cigarettes in it, because I never smoke. I don't see any reason to start smoking cigarettes. It's probably one of the worst drugs you could just do, because it destroys you very quickly, and it's very pretty expensive if you think about it, and it doesn't really give you anything. I mean, I don't see the point. Apparently it makes you more relaxed, but is it really worth it? And I think no. Sure, I have the explanation. Well, let's hear it. Alcohol works in a couple of stages, with small amount of 10 to 20 grams of clean alcohol. Reduces anxiety and does no damage to the brain and movement, but people usually don't stop after this amount of alcohol. So I got a half of beer. I was a student, was poor, and drink this bottle for a couple of hours, so it helps to reduce my anxiety, but I know nothing about my anxiety and brain at the moment. With more than 20 grams of clean alcohol, bad things to brain happens. Don't recommend to drink. There are ways to deal with anxiety and self-confidence. Yeah, definitely. There's ways of dealing with that without having to resort to taking drugs. And yes, alcohol is a drug. I don't care what people say when they say drugs and alcohol. What do you mean, drugs and alcohol? That implies that alcohol is a different category from drugs. But alcohol is a drug. It's a chemical that you take in to get a very specific psychoactive effect. So that's a drug in my book. They aren't necessarily abusive, but I just remember talking to grandparents on Christmas, wishing them a happy holidays and such, and just they'd reply with slurred words. I'd call them at 9 a.m. Yeah. And then there's people who imagine they just, the first thing they do when they wake up is just give themselves a shot of whiskey or something like that, just to start the day. Because without it, they couldn't really properly function. Parasympathetic receptors are called nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. For some reason, nicotinic is there, as they were discovered first with response to nicotine. But acetylcholine is our natural neuromediator for parasympathetic system. And while brain recovery used to take it as a treatment. Yeah, there are several things that used to be part of a treatment, and later it became a household name for basically a street drug. Heroin, for example, is one of the many things that, I think it was a anti-cough medicine. Oh, acetylcholine. Yeah, that was also used for brain recovery. Yeah, I do remember reading about that. But alcohol is still used today in medicine, but I mean, you know what it is used for disinfection, right? Not for drinking. I think most people say drugs and alcohol because alcohol is drank rather than injected or taken through a pill. Yeah, but would you say an edible, a cannabis-infused food item? That is also a drug, but you eat it. But a drug can also be consumed by eating it or drinking it. I do see what they mean, but to me that's not a factor that I consider. You have to get it into your body somehow. I mean, technically, couldn't you also get drunk by inhaling ethanol fumes for long enough? They were just like that. They are the type of people to wake up and take a shot of vodka. Oh, wow. Jeez. Injecting alcohol is more efficient. Injecting anything into your veins is more efficient, but the question is, do you want that kind of efficiency? pretty sure that if you inject alcohol, you die pretty fast, pretty quickly. Of course, it depends on how much you weigh, what your gender is, what your age is, your overall condition, your tolerance level. Oh, come on. I should be able to do this. I only wonder, what is it with this specific hunt that just makes me miss the frames over and over again? I think some hunts are just kind of, I mean, I don't really think that, of course, but some are just kind of cursed. Also, the Relicanth that I never managed to get on stream, I did manage to get off screen. I just was testing if maybe there were some frame disturbances in the underwater part. Okay, let's see. No, still not. I just think it's a psychological thing because it's a bit different than most other drugs. I mean, an edible is still closer to a pill if you think about it than alcohol is. Yeah, but I think that's like a sociological distinction, which, sure, I do understand what you mean. But I would also see or think of an edible as a drug. But yeah, the one is just much more accepted in society than the other, which, not based by merit, because no, alcohol can or is much more dangerous than, for example, cannabis is. Let's see. No, I want the blue one. Why do I keep missing that frame? It's really weird. It's also likely because alcohol and alcoholism is just so, oops, stupid me, mashing the A button even though I shouldn't. So common that most people don't want to admit they're doing a drug. Yeah, that as well. That was what I wanted to say as well. But you were faster than me. I think it's intertwined. There are a lot of different associations with different brains. Different brains or different drugs? Which I see your point with both. An edible definitely is a drug. Most people wouldn't even make a distinction between drugs and edibles unless asked. Well, I mean, in my mind, it's always, you can have several sweets or anything like chocolate infused with that. And I would feel really bad if a child or a minor would eat that. Even though from looking at it, just by looking at it, you can see the difference. But still, some drugs are just well hidden in a way. I mean, attitude to drugs, what considers a drug and what are the reasons to consume it? I mean, yeah, I actually think what you do with your body, if you're an adult and you want to do that, sure. I'm actually for, these restrictive drug laws have not really helped. But then again, alcohol can did show me that sometimes it can go really wrong. But to be fair, with the prohibition in America, you know, that really failed. Just didn't make the alcohol go away, just made it so that only stronger alcohol survives. Because you can get more for less in a way. Okay, again. Okay, hunting for an hour now and still no shiny. That is not looking good. I really wonder what the heck is going on. As I saw, bulimia, any food can become a drug with a strong addiction. Anything or a lot of things can become a very strong addiction. Anything in moderation is fine, yeah. But I think people should be more... oh, excuse me. More respectful regarding drug usage. I think people are pressured to do them a lot of the time, and that's not good. Oh yeah, with peer pressure among teens and all that jazz. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. Absolutely. Let's see if... But... there's some things that don't work in moderation, but like cyanide, for example. But yeah, that's just that's not anything I would say you should consume. The thing is about damage. As a chemist, I can say there's an amount of anything that is safe to consume. For some drugs it's small, for alcohol it's bigger, for sugar more, for bread or meat, for example, even more. Say about addiction, anything can become a subject to be addicted to. Yeah, there's nymphomaniacs who are addicted to, you know, copulation, let's call it like that. I think that's a good way to call that act, and the censors won't be angry with you or me when I say copulation. Other things are gambling, video games, yeah, anything really. There's some really strange addictions out there as well. Shopping as well, sunbathing. I mean, there's basically anything you can think of. A lot of the drug laws in the US are just used to oppress minorities. Yeah, definitely, that's what they're there for. Let's be honest here, yeah, definitely, absolutely. We all know the rich are doing mushrooms and cocaine at their parties and don't get incarcerated. Well, didn't you see the Elon Musk? He's full of ketamine. He's like just abusing ketamine at this point, but he doesn't get into trouble because he's rich. He's part of the ruling class, and they are allowed to do that, but not the lower class. It's classy if you're rich and trashy if you're poor, kind of thing. Which again, double standard. Which sucks. Five seconds, let's see. This time I should... Come on, I can do this. No, still no. Time to become rich. Any ideas? That's a good question, you know. I think if I had some ideas, I would have been already rich, but to be fair, I mean, all the easy to get rich schemes are usually very exploitative, and I would have too many moral standards to go through that. Always hate people say that marijuana is illegal. If you smoke every day and can't help yourself, which a lot of stoners are, then yes, you're addicted. Yeah, I do definitely. You know when they say, oh yeah, but I can quit whenever I want. Yeah, well, that's exactly what other addicts are saying as well, and I think at that point they might be lying to themselves. Don't actually do that. No, you don't do stupid things, better not. There's already enough stupid things being done on this planet. What do you think? Will I succeed in getting the Voltorb today? Does it dust start happening down where I live? Oh, so you're having a dust storm. We had a dust storm in Europe as well. There was a lot of Sahara dust that that just got blown our way. And especially in Luxembourg, it being a very small country, you could see it like so many cars. You could definitely see and pick out which cars or which people had a garage and which ones didn't, because those who had their car outside, just like myself, the cars were full of dust, and I really had to go get my car cleaned because it was definitely chock full of Sahara dust. So I assume this is somewhat of the same thing. Technically, there's no inherently addictive chemical in marijuana, but as Alex said, you can get addicted to anything. Yeah, and I think that some people, especially extreme stoners, might be deluding themselves in thinking, oh, because THC doesn't have that many bad withdrawals or, you know, side effects, or just generally, if you just don't take it for a while, that it's not as dangerous as if you get addicted to heroin and don't take it for a while. The cold turkey there can actually end your existence, to put it lightly. With THC that doesn't happen, but still, that doesn't mean that you can't get addicted to THC. Good luck catching Voltorb, depends on you. Yeah, I'm just kind of angry. Like, why can't I pull this off? I believe we have believers in the chat. Maybe you need a couple of shots to reduce anxiety. Nah, no thanks. And even if I wanted to, and I'd say, okay, I'll do what Alex says, I don't even have alcohol, so... Slows down speed of neural signals in the brain, damage the brain a lot. It slows the speed of limbic system and neocortex, so all the emotions grow slow and the consciousness works slower too. Yes, but from what I've seen, the damage is completely reversible, and the functioning of these brain parts return to their original state when you stay away from marijuana long enough. But if you smoke before your development is completed, yeah, that is a lasting damage, unfortunately. So it's very important that minors don't touch that stuff. And that's why I want regulated, like drug regulation, so that adults can indulge in it if they want to. Don't get caught driving a car while in that state. You're not allowed to do that, but if just two friends want to get high, okay, then just let them go to a store that's specialized, and sure, let them do whatever they want. It's their thing, they are adults, they consent to that. It's like getting piercings. Technically, you also damage a part of your body in a way, but we don't make that illegal. Okay, 3 seconds. Only smoke once a month for that exact reason. Don't want to get addicted or hamper my development. Yeah, that's a good choice. Spent 3 years with weed addicted person and we have a success, so I know in practice it is reversible, but this pill is too sweet than solving all the problems people had. What do you mean the pill is too sweet? Should be extremely motivated person. Oh, you mean they should be a motivated person, but them just being addicted to cannabis kind of ruined that or got in the way? But yeah, hopefully I did understand you correctly. Only 3 viewers. Usually I have more. By sweet pill, I mean it's easier to smoke again than meet all the problems and fears to solve them. Oh yeah, I think that's a big problem with almost every drug. That you'd rather do that than face your fears, face your problems. Because it makes you forget about them for a while. Or make them easier to deal with in the moment. But of course, make them easier to deal with doesn't solve them, right? That just actually delays the problem, pushes the problem to a later day. And sometimes that's one of the worst things you could do. Because some problems just become bigger the longer you don't try to solve them. Come on. Now it should be. No, still not. Very strange. Very strange indeed. Yeah, it's quite empty, but then again, I am streaming earlier than usual. So I think it might also be that. I'm just checking something with Pokemon. Stupid. With YouTube Studio, I can check my audience if there's a lot online right now. So we're Tuesday. Okay, yeah, I did stream during a time right now where not a lot of my viewers are online. And compared to yesterday, 7 or so people. Yeah, at one point it was even 9. But to be fair, that concurrent viewers thing isn't really that accurate a lot of the times. It's a problem of compulsions, not a drug. If it's not catchy drug with small addiction effect like weed, people don't want to smoke weed. They want that relaxed feeling weed gives. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And because it's habit forming, that makes it even harder to stop doing that, right? Let's see how this goes. I mean, I did replicate it before. I should be able to get a Voltorb. At least one, come on. If I don't get one before 21:30 my time, so that's in 2 hours, then I'll switch over to the other stream that was supposed to be done today. So that will be a very long time of streaming then. It really all depends on how good I'll be with the timing now. I've used hypnosis with that person before to completely relax, and this was a big trigger for her. Okay. I can be relaxed without smoking, and this changed perception of weed. She believed that she can be this much relaxed by herself and was excited to learn how to do that. Oh, so you unlocked something inside of her. That's very good. So she did manage to learn there's a way to relax without using or having to resort to drugs. That's good. So I'm hunting a blue version of a Pokémon, a game made for or meant to be played by children, but also by everyone. And we're talking about drugs. So there's that. Always something. This really the only reasonable way to use hypnosis I found to impose people pleasant feelings so they won't be stuck in the stress and feel the alternative. Which kind did you, which kind of hypnosis? Because there's hypnotherapy and then there's hypnosis therapy. Apparently these two are not identical. With one you actually you are fully conscious, and with the other one you aren't. But I could be wrong, that's how I understood it at least, so would like to see or hear what kind of method you used. Okay. Still nothing. This is really weird. But that is interesting, the hypnosis thing. Yeah, I'm streaming way earlier than normal. Usually I stream at 20 or 21:30 my time. So that would be Central European time or GMT +1. So I know you're all from different time zones. You can calculate which one you are in. But yeah, right now where I am in Luxembourg, it's 19:49 or 7:49 p.m. Because military time apparently is creepy to use for some Americans. And I'm like, that's just a normal European thing. When you said you wanted to do the trade before you streamed, I literally thought, oh, so I'm an hour or two, and then I checked your channel to see you plan to stream at 11:30 my time. Yeah, was literally just, I was setting up things for the stream, and I did the trade really quickly, basically 5 minutes before I started streaming. It's the first stage of hypnosis, catch attention. Okay, so you try to get the attention of the person. But how? I mean... I do wonder how you would go about doing that. So even without trying to hypnotize someone, if you're telling interesting story and someone is listening carefully. Yeah, okay. This person is kind of hypnotized. I see what you mean, yeah. Used to you streaming around 2:30 p.m. Yeah, that's usually where I when I stream. And I thought maybe try the Voltorb thing again. 'Cause tomorrow I did the why not thing, but I don't even have the Voltorb yet. So I tried to maybe do that before the why not. Of course, I could still reschedule all my streams. But I do hope that I'll get it at least now. That's a lot of minutes. At least one of these resets should be correct. Don't know if military time is creepy to use as much as just people that have been raised in the AM PM system, so it's weird. Yeah, I just saw memes like that. I saw memes saying if you see someone, an MFer, with military time on their phone screen, I think they're psycho, and I'm like, no, probably a European person. People know the secret. Magic doesn't work, so there are two different ways to hypnotize. First, when a person is agreed to obey you, and is ready to listen to your words when you say, like, relax. Okay, so that would be agreement. Well, magic doesn't work, yeah. We're not in a... Yeah, it's not like with the Pokemon Hypno. Waving something in front of you until you fall asleep, that doesn't really work like that. So let's see. Aw, still nothing. The other way is if the person is skeptic and is already concentrated not to be not tricked. So you can use this concentration as it already exists, okay. But you have to manipulate a little. Okay, interesting. So you do have to do that sometimes, okay. Roaming the street, probably use second way to get your wallet. Oh yeah, some pickpockets they have techniques where they try to use your, like, they can see who is concentrated on something and then they pick that person because they will probably or more likely miss the pickpocket going through their pockets and taking anything with them. That's definitely a tactic they use. Because you're distracted, and stealing something from a distracted person is much easier, right? I mean, don't need to explain that. Also, thanks to these streams, I will have music from Generation 3 stuck in my head. European psychotic, obviously. Yeah, I mean, if you look at our history, maybe, yeah. I mean, you guys use military time and have universal healthcare. That's insane. I know, it's insane, right? Imagine. Who would ever do that? I never do the second rail while people showing hypnosis in live shows use it. Oh, I went to a, I remember, you just reminded me of something back then. Like, that was a long time ago. I think it was 12 or 13. Maybe 14. But it was a long time ago where I was in Greece, holiday with my parents and my brother, so my family. And there was a magician on stage. And he picked people from the crowd to be... So they will be part of the magic tricks that he did. And after he did some magic tricks, he asked me to tell him the time. And I look at my watch and I just... It's gone. And I'm like, oh no, where's my watch? And he just takes it out of a pocket. And I'm like, oh, are you looking for that watch? And then later he explained to me he used distraction. And used that distraction to take my watch off. And he says that some people are just really skilled. You can kind of train that to get watches off very quickly. And I really didn't, I mean, I didn't catch it. I was really surprised that he could steal a watch from me like that. But that's because he used distraction. All therapy is based on trust and cooperation. Yeah, if you don't have that in therapy, that therapy is not gonna do anything. Let's see. Okay, this is indeed getting a bit annoying. I do wonder if I should stream like through, as in just switch, or maybe if I should do a 1 to half an hour pause, break, whatever you want to call it, in between. Because if I don't get the Voltorbs today, I'll try until I get them. I can still do these streams on other days, sure. Can't imagine a world where people are treated fairly and have a few politicians that actually look out for their people. As a freedom-loving American, I can tell you that's downright evil. Yeah, I know, that is definitely sarcasm. Funny though that people, maybe not as funny, that there's people out there that really believe in that. Ah, oh, still no shiny. Why is it Voltorb that just gives me so much trouble? Really bizarre. Okay, after a couple of... yeah, maybe 2 resets, then I'm gonna switch over to the modest one again. Hopefully at least I'll get one of them. It's impossible without manipulation sometimes. Well, manipulation is not always bad. I can say with honesty that I've also manipulated some people at some point in my lives, but it was so that they would accept better conditions or better terms, or so they would make better choices. So sometimes your psychologist or psychiatrist may also manipulate you into doing better things. It's not always bad. Have to maybe say that as well. As people come to therapy because they are not prepared properly to live their lives. We have to trick our brains that we are in this situation. For example, to see brain responses. Yeah. This happens with prepared people who are ready to meet their reactions. I mean, already the first step, going to therapy, that's already a big first step that a lot of others have a lot of anxiety towards, or they can't get over doing the first step. Going to therapy means that coming to terms with the idea that yes, there is something, in a way, in quotation marks, wrong with you, and you need to change an aspect of you in order to have a better life. And I think it already fails at that stage for a lot of people. Okay, 6 seconds. It's not 6 seconds, it's 5 seconds, but anyway. Okay, I just heard 2 Voltorb cries. And still no shiny, wow, okay. Okay, what is the other frame? That is 4,856. Very good, then let's do that. Wish that I didn't have to say that with sarcasm, as there are people who would think I'm being serious, because opinions like these are normal in American politics. Yeah, I've seen that. I definitely have seen that. Mark my words, we are watching the end of American democracy. I'm kind of worried about the elections over there. Have to be honest about that. It's your decision to go to therapy, yeah. And I wish more people did take that decision. One girl comes to therapy and said, my husband told me to go to therapy. Turns out she's okay, and the reason for her anxiety is her husband. she's ready to work. Yeah, and this happens a lot with narcissists as well. Usually the narcissists send people to therapy even though they themselves should be going to therapy. She needs another husband. Yikes, didn't marry the correct one. 5 seconds, let's see. But that's why, I mean, I am married, but I say this. Be very careful about who you marry. And be aware that that is a decision that is not to be taken lightly. And, yeah, sometimes a marriage can make things much worse. So only marry when you really, really, really want to, and if the relationship is also very non-toxic and weird, not weird, what am I saying? How can I say? Non-toxic, very cooperative, you are building yourselves up. No, relationship is give and take, a marriage is also give and take, but you assume it's permanent. Can't believe I get to vote in my first election. Can't believe it's also the last election I get to vote in. Oh, well, let's hope it's not that. Or maybe you mean that after that you're gonna leave America, which, okay, that's fair. But you can still vote, right? If you're a US American and you're outside the territory. Or do you guys even do that? I know with letter or mail-in votes, you're not a big fan of these things. But I get letters from the Italian government to go vote because they think I'm Italian. In their mind I am, because my dad is Italian. It definitely is a life-changing decision, definitely. Absolutely, even. To be fair, it seems like the people from, let's say, my generation are, if they are married, they usually stay together pretty long, or at least the relationships are better in the way that we really do marry for love. I really don't understand that boomer type humor where, oh, I hate my wife or I hate my husband. You hate your spouse? Why are you still married? That's a horrible life to live if you hate the person you married. You're supposed to love that person, not hate them. You're supposed to be happy when they come back home and not be like, oh god, he or she's in the driveway again, and you feel your heart sinking. That's not a good sign. You shouldn't stay married to a person you have these feelings towards. Definitely. Well, it seems to me that this election is a lose-lose. Well, aren't they all? In the US, only idiots oppose mail-in votes. Yeah, I don't understand why some Americans were so vehemently against mail-in votes. Really don't understand it myself. They hate their life before marriage, nothing changed for them. Yeah, there's definitely people that are always perpetually miserable. And I did used to have friends like that, and I'm trying to cut that out of my life. I don't need that anymore. I'm trying to be more radical with what I tolerate in my life. And people who perpetually are negative, they hate everything, they don't treat staff in a nice way. I don't need that, I really don't. If Biden wins, then I see a civil war. Trump and his supporters are downright cult-like. Yeah, that's definitely true. And since he has a strange hold on the poorly educated masculine military men, it's likely a rough civil war. Oh, you mean like what happened with storming of the capital? That did kinda fail pretty hard. I mean, definitely you should never underestimate idiots in large numbers. Just know that an idiot or idiots are not going to be cooperating really well, or at least it's not going to be very coordinated at all. Trump wins and the Republicans will fall over and give him the powers of a king, basically. They want him to have absolute power. Yeah, that's so scary, isn't it? I mean, I'm not a fan of both of these, but one of them is definitely the worst choice. Oh sure, war is so fun, let's all do wars. Yeah, it's just... Yet another political tension, as if we don't already have enough of those going on right now in the world. Mail-in voting is only seen poorly because Trump lost because of them. It took several days to count those votes and it resulted in Trump losing the election. Yeah, and then him claiming that they were faked, even though there was no evidence to point towards that fact. And they weren't faked. But, I mean, it was already a very stupid move with the COVID thing. He basically eliminated, let's say, a lot of his viewer base. They perished from COVID. So he basically diminished the numbers of followers or voters. Which is kind of funny if you think about it, but morbidly funny. Mail-in voting is only seen poorly because Trump lost because of them. Took several days to count those votes and resulted in Trump losing the election. As you can see to the right, that is another Voltorb that... It looks like a Pokeball. Because that's what it's always supposed to be. It looks like an item at first, a Pokeball, and then you click it, you hear the cry, and of course, it's not a Pokeball, it's a Voltorb. Mail-in voting is only seen poorly because Trump lost because of them. It took several days to count those votes, and it resulted in Trump losing the election. Wait, I did read that before, what am I doing? But yeah. I do remember the hate for the mail voting process. Anyone who wants war is welcomed in Ukrainian armed forces. Yeah, and then you can fight, and then you can see how nice it is to be in a war. Sarcasm, of course. There's a lot of war to do. Yeah, I wish we didn't, but sadly I have no say in these matters. All I'm going to say, if courts couldn't indict Trump despite the fact that he's a traitor, yeah, try to hamper American democracy by charging on the Capitol, then he will never be indicted. Yeah, why wasn't he impeached? I mean, that should have been a very clear reason, and the fine that he got, that's just ridiculous. And yeah, I am indeed very worried about what will happen. About who will be the... Because even though it's not my country... I mean, I've never set foot in the country ever in my life. And yet, whatever gets voted in the US has consequences for Europe as well. And it's really annoying. And I am afraid of the rise of the, like, conservative or right-leaning parties. And knowing how things go, we haven't learned a thing about history, or from history. And that is very scary. Let's see. No, still nothing. 1.5 hours later. The cursed Voltorb, definitely. Absolutely cursed. The same thing happened with Julius Caesar back in Rome. He marched on Rome and was never punished. His adopted son later did the same thing and was named emperor. History is repeating itself, yeah. It always has, it always been. We don't learn. Always the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. And isn't it just sickening? Trump couldn't be impeached because technically when the Capitol riot happened, he was out of office. A sitting duck president who was just waiting for his term to end. Yeah. My life literally depends on the US, so I hope people that read as 5th to 5th graders make right decision. Everything left to us here. Or the US here, yeah. And it's people with a 4th grade to 5th grade reading level, comprehension level maybe as well. Scary to think about, right? I mean, that's the kind of people that they vote and they think they know things about politics. Scary. I hope they make the right decisions as well, yeah, but I don't think they will. Who knows? But why does it have to be Biden again from the Democratic side? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the Democrats either, but why does it have to be Biden again? I mean, Biden is a sleeping pill and he's just a neoliberal puppet. Can't we have someone like Bernie? And I swear, Bernie would just be a normal run-of-the-mill standard politician in Europe. Like, he wouldn't be anything special if he would be a candidate to vote for in Europe. But apparently in America he's very left, which, okay. Very skewed Overton window there. Not as scary as ballistic missile. Well, these will maybe come. The scary thing is all the things that could happen and escalate, right? But if Trump wins, I don't think they will. Trump doesn't want to be part of NATO and kisses Putin's butt. Yeah, unfortunately. Biden is passive, moderate. He can get more swing votes. Yeah. Let's see who will be a candidate for the next election. It's gonna be in November, isn't it? We also have elections in Europe this year. Like for the European Parliament as well. So you vote for your representatives from your country for the European Parliament. I know what I want to vote for. Not that I really have a good choice, but any vote against very right-wing parties is a good vote. Note that I said against, not for them. I would never do that. My ancestors who fought the Nazis would be really mad with me if I did that. And why would I do that? I mean, they already tried to take over my country. I don't want that to happen again. Need some further left. Bernie would be great. He's intelligent with great beliefs, but he's too far left for the average voter. Imagine a moderate, like a middle ground person being too left for Americans. That's sorry if I come across as snobbish, but to a European person like me, that's just insane to think about. Like, he wouldn't even be considered left wing in Europe. He would just be another liberal. That's it. He's too far left for the average vote. Everyone in my generation loves Bernie, but not boomers, yeah. And they are still a very large voting base, right? So yeah, I am still worried what will happen, what's gonna happen in November. Didn't Trump try to make mail-in votes illegal because he was so scared of them? Because of the things you mentioned, Kaiser Karmazin? America used to be the bastion of democracy and freedom, an example to the rest of the world that nations could exist without kings. Now that's changed. Those formerly autocratic nations do democracy better than America. Funny how the turns have tabled, isn't it? And America is slowly turning more and more autocratic. Not just America, but yeah. It's scary to think about. I mean, to be fair, we still have some royals in Europe, but they don't really have that much power. Okay, can I get a Voltorb now? Oh, come on. Thinking about whether or not I should do a about 1 hour break before doing the other stream. Would that be okay with you? I mean, it's you two and my husband right now who are watching. There's not a lot of viewers here. After this reset, I'm gonna try the lower one, so the frame 3571. And if I don't get it this time, I mean, there's always another day where I will attempt to get the Voltorbs. So rumors about China invading Taiwan next month. Oh yeah, these tensions are also there. Oh, jeez. So much stupid things going on. Completely unnecessary. These poor people are gonna have to suffer again because of some rich buttholes. It's always the same thing. Really demoralizing if you ask me. That's why I don't really read the news anymore. It just kind of breaks my heart too much, you know, having to read that every single day, again and again and again and again. People not learning from history. Bernie is moderate left. He's considered far left in the US. Yeah, it's just I mean, maybe you've heard the term already once. But, it's the Overton window that is really shifted. It's very interesting to see how what is considered to be left and right wing is really dependent on where you are geographically speaking. Let's see. Kinda had to chuckle before Kaiser comes in because I saw you typed Hannah instead of Yana. I mean, that is also another girl's name that is almost identical to mine. I'll just save here. I mean, if you save, there's no frame advancements that change. But I did hear or read about if your trainer faces upwards with a stationary hunt, if RNG manipulation, that it's better that the trainer is facing upwards or downwards rather than sideways. I'll just do that. I think I'll then do, if that's okay with you, 1 hour break. Get my legs moving a bit, you know. It's not good for the veins to be if you just sit all the time. Especially not if you're a woman, which I am. So I'm gonna do that, stretch my legs. Yeah, no problem. I know autocorrect does some funny things sometimes. That's okay. accepting it. If I think about it, it is better than does exist rather than it doesn't exist. Yeah, it does help you. I understand. It's a very... I mean, everything... As with everything in life, things are very... Not black and white. There's a lot of grey in between, a lot of nuance, and... Just feel bad for all these Americans that could have had a much better life. But not just for them. Also for others. Like other nations, third world nations, where they could be a thriving populace, but because of corrupt leaders, they're a shit hole, which really doesn't have to be that, and it just breaks me. Especially with all the Soviet legacy, rather die but not gonna come back to USSR. Oh. I do wonder though, how long will that go? Like, what happens when Putin isn't there anymore? Stuck with America with all the stigmas people across the world have against Americans. Yeah, that has to be very... I mean, when I say I'm from Luxembourg, they say, what's that? But when you say you're from the US, there's already so many stereotypes they throw your way, right? Oh, oops, sorry, I hit the... And the husband has been summoned. Alright. Still nothing. Like, bro, I don't want to live here anymore. Yeah, you told me that if you had the choice, you would emigrate somewhere else. When Putin dies, probably US will feed Russians with chicken again, and Russians complain about it again like it was in 1998. I assume another henchman would attempt to take his place, and the whole fiasco will be done over again. I don't know. Americans are stupid. If you asked an American where Russia, China are, I guarantee you that a decent portion wouldn't get it right. Yeah, but I would also assume that a lot of random Europeans would also mess that up. My crow friends are here. I have already fed you with some really good salami as well from Luxembourg. They're flying over my apartment. Yeah, they know I'm here. I'm definitely at home. They sometimes check if my car is parked, like if it's parked somewhere. And then they look in through the windows to see if I'm there. It's pretty funny. They're very intelligent. They definitely will be coming and looking for you if they know, hey, that's the person that always feeds us. Because Europeans aren't perfect, but Americans are far worse. I've seen these video compilations. Was it the Jimmy Kimmel show, or what's it called again? Where they just go, let's say, into the wild and try to just ask people, oh, do you know where Australia is? Do you know where, I don't know, the US is? Do you know where Germany is? And they always fail. They say, oh, where's Australia? And they point to Africa. Or they say, oh, name a country, and they say Africa. But Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent. That's not the same. Or when they ask, name a continent that starts with A. So that would be very easy, right? But they just they can't think of one, even though they are like multiple. There's a lot of continents that start with a. If you take the Americas, as in North and South America, that's one. If you see that as one continent, then Antarctica, and what about Australia, Asia? They just don't. They don't seem to think of these. It's really weird. And I think it's because they don't really know what a continent is. Because it's not really taught in schools, I guess. Not only Kiev, but there are a lot of nice cities and places. Yeah, I wanted to visit Ukraine, but I mean, obviously not right now. Not possible. Ask them to put where Iran is on the map. They'll miss it. Germany, they'll miss it. US, yes. I've met some Americans who don't know where the US is. Yeah, I've seen videos of that before. I wasn't sure if it was, actors acting it for a comedy skit or if it was really the case, but Jimmy Kimmel is very cherry-picked with that, but there's some truth to it. Kind of people are everywhere. You're from Odessa? Odessa, I have to check where that is. Okay, Odessa, is that how you pronounce it? With 2 S? Or Odessa, I see both. Oh, okay, I see. They can be both spelled as Odessa with 1 S and 2 S. Okay, interesting. So I assume that character, that Syrian character that you use can be transcribed as 1 S or double S. Oh, that's where it is. Oh, yeah, you told me that you were close to the ocean, right? Because you said there was a port very close to where you are. We're so many kilometers apart and yet so close. Second, 2S is Russian name, 1S is Ukrainian. Ah, okay. Ah, okay, okay. That's something I knew that I learned. I'd also love to see the Ukraine one day. Always wanted to, but unfortunately now that is not doable, definitely not. So yeah, I'll definitely do. I think it's better for me to take a break before I start in an hour. Just for my veins, it's just not good to be sitting for that long. And I will definitely attempt to get the Voltorb at least. Don't know if tomorrow, maybe on another day, but geez, really that hard to get for some reason. I just keep missing the frame. But to be fair, with the square shinies, there's definitely a lot that or at least I have a list of interesting square shinies that I want to go for. And here I can just use the escape rope. I bought some more escape ropes. Just can use that, get out, and then fly any way I want, and yeah. Should be doable. Okay, last reset for this stream. Please get it right. Please get it right. Yana, get it right, please. At least one. 70 kilometers from front line of the land. Literally front line on the sea, but our soldiers did a nice job to move Russian warships far away. Oh, that's good. But submarines, planes, and ballistic missiles from Crimea are still annoying, yeah. And they come at velocities that are really hard to fend off, I can imagine. At least I would understand if that was the case. Not sure if I'll be able to attend the next stream. Hey, no problem. If you can't, then you can't. That's just how it is. One in an hour. Yeah, that would be the square shiny one. I mean, you've been here for the past 2 hours for this one. And thank you. Thank you as well. So let's see. Did I mess it up? And yeah. Well, then another time for the Voltorb. As always, thank you so much for being still part of the stream where I failed to get a Voltorb yet again. Not even one. Oh well, we have infinite tries essentially. So yeah, maybe hopefully see you in an hour. If not, see you next time. Goodbye.